So, hello, this is Carlos Rodriguez, national champion for Buddyfight for North America. And this is deck profile. Some people have been asking me to put up, show them. With the Dungeon World deck I played for Nats. First of all, we start off with the size 0s. I really like them over size 1 dungeon enemies. That gives synergy to the deck. First of all, we have Fate Skeleton. We run 3 because of its stats for 3/1/3s. Helps link attack, helps get over annoying stuff, and by himself he can pretty much kill some bad size 1s. For other size 0, we have Dogi, which is like a better Tiger, Armanite Tiger for those who play Danger World. He has 2,000 more defense, and that actually comes in handy a lot more than you would think. His 2 crit helps enable OTKs with the deck, and overall you just want to call him out when you want to kill your opponent. For the size 2 lineups, we run 8. We run the heart and soul of the deck, which is Brave Drum. Basically, his stats are horrible and his rock, paper, scissors are okay, but what makes this card really strong is its soul guard.
How many games have you won off of his rock, paper, scissors ability? Hilarious.
A couple, because it does help, because the 3 damage does add up even if you just take it once. Although I try to avoid doing the rock, paper, scissors. If I can, I just prefer to swing for 3. But overall, I like him a lot just because you can spam him with continue. And when you spam him with continue, it just becomes a 2-card shield, unless they have penetrate, but there's ways around that. For my other size 2, it's Magical Fortress Orchard Plains. Orchard Plains is basically here to gauge and to give you draw power. It has okay stats. It's not bad at all because most of the time your opponent might have to link attack it to get over it. But overall, I would just call it, use the effect, and then call something over it because he replaces his minuses. For the size 1 lineup, we have Missile Magician Adric, we have Dancing Magician Tetsuya, and we have Dragon Blade wielding Shellavana. This card was supposed to be at 3. I made a mistake and I didn't realize I was playing 51 cards in the deck. So that's a 3 of. It's pretty good because if chained right, you can get over annoying stuff and it can kill your opponent without actually having to attack them. Tetsuya, OTK, Tetsuya, as I like to call him, just because without this card, a lot of the deck's combos and strength wouldn't be there. It just helps do 10 damage in 1 turn if your opponent wants to go for the aggressive play and leave their center open. And if they don't, you can just abuse really strong monsters, not care about their green shields or about their shields because he replaces the attack he has. And as for Shellavana, Shellavana is a pretty powerful card. Its stats are subpar, but the fact that it can penetrate and the fact that it can be a 3 crit makes it extremely strong because it's a 0 gauge card. And thanks to continue, the setup for Shellavana is the easiest thing to do. It enables the deck to start off with strong plays like Dog Shayla for 3 or Drum and Pass for 3, putting your opponent at 7, either giving you a wall, making your opponent's decisions a lot more difficult because if they leave Shellavana out on the field, there's barely anything they can do to respond to it. That's it for the monsters at the moment. Let's see.
And that Tetsuya is your buddy.
Yeah, Tetsuya is my buddy. In the tournament, it's up here as Brave Drum is my buddy, just because nobody wants to trade me a fifth Tetsuya. I got this from after the tournament. I got it signed. I play Brave Equipment Glory Seeker just to have it because it's just power. It can be a heal trigger and it can save you, but most of the times if the deck is played right, you'll have a full setup and you won't need it and you won't even attack with it. But like against dragons where they have their Gargantuas, against other Dungeon World decks that they can burst damage you and kill you, it's just nice to know that you have a safety net and it's an option, it's an out. So that's why I like it. Also, every now and then if you do use it as a weapon, it's pretty strong. It's a 5/3, which is amazing. Mission card defeat monsters. As of yet, the judges have been ruling this card. They can go 2 or more with it. So most of the players that were playing Dungeon World were told this, so we were getting +2s off of this, even +4s, depending on like how you wanted to go about it. This card is extremely strong just because it rewards you for killing your opponent's resources, and it gives you more. So when you want to play the resource game against a mirror match, against a Dragon World deck, or even Magic World, it allows you to keep up, and that in itself makes this a really powerful card. I don't run this at 4 just because I can only have 1 on the field, but besides that, I really liked it. Then we have Nazaro. Nazaro is an extremely powerful card just because it makes your adventurers untouchable in combat, because if they attack your adventure, you just go get it back to your hand and you're going to get another combo piece back. So even if your opponent finds ways around it, you're good around it because you don't really care, because that's what you want them to do. It's a safety card for your cards, and your opponent will sometimes try to manipulate their attacks so they don't give you the cards that you want. But like this deck has a really good synergy, and no matter what they give you back, it's really good just because you can do combo plays and powerful stuff out of it. Then we have the tutor card, mission card form of party. Basically one of my favorite cards in the deck. It gives you any adventure, any combo piece, and it also gives you a life. So it creates survivability against difficult matchups, and it helps set up continue plays, search out that drum that you're missing, get that Tetsuya, just does everything for you, and even the weapon if you feel like you're not gonna make it for the next turn. It's just a good card overall. And continues.
The MVP of the deck.
The MVP of the deck. I really don't know what to say about this card. It's a +1 for 1 gauge. It requires some setup, but like the setup is so easy to do, and the benefits that it gives you is so insane. It's not even funny. Like your opponent will freak out because if you just have this 1 card in your hand, you play this, you get a drum back, you get a skeleton or a doggy, your opponent's already risking taking 5 damage from nowhere because of this 1 card. It also gave you a wall, it gave you attackers. This overall fucking insane. This is my favorite card of the deck, just because of the name also. And then we have the null cards. These 8 cards. This is a green dragon. This is basically a shield that for 1 gauge you can nullify any type of attack. You don't need a center open or anything, and it gives you 1 life. It's pretty cool, but most of the times I only really want to use 1 in the deck. I play 4 just to draw into it, just because you really don't want to be paying gauge for cards like this. It can sometimes get cloggy, but they're still strong cards. They still increase survivability. They help burn your gauge so you can get stuff into your drop zone. And as for this, the best removal card in the game as of now, Pillar Fire. It basically hits anything. It hits most size 2s. It hits almost every size 1, and it hits almost a good amount of size 3s, especially the popular Bastard Sword for 1 counterblast, Vanguard for 1 gauge. It's a strong card, and overall, like all the cards that help this deck are just basically has strong removal, strong shields, powerful combo plays, burst damage, strong monsters on their own, ways to recover resources, ways to switch from a defensive play to an aggro play. It's just overall a really strong toolboxy deck that can just switch gears and your opponent won't know what to expect. It really keeps them on their toes, basically waiting for something to happen. And well, if you have any questions about the deck, leave them in the comments. Leave them in the comments. We'll try our best to respond about it.
And that should be it. It's me, Team Greylock, signing out.
Take care.